Welcome to the Margin Line podcast. I'm Joe Lynch, head of go-to-market at Dandy. This show is all about peeling back the layers of how technology is revolutionizing dentistry, especially in partnership with DSOs and ambitious private practices. We want to give you the inside scoop on what is actually happening inside of the lab, the challenges we face, the advances we're making, and the stories from the front lines that matter most to doctors and patients. Dan, welcome to the show.
Good to be on the show.
Most people assume dentists pick a lab based on a combination of price and quality. In a recent survey, 50% of doctors told us that aesthetics was the main reason that they take cases somewhere else. 91% of dentists said that they're looking for crowns with lifelike color. The demand is there, the gap's there. That's the problem that our new product was built to solve. Dan is the co-founder and CEO of Dandy. He started in 2020 after years as a dental patient himself, and today Dandy ships more than 250,000 restorations per month. We went deep on his origin story in our launch episode. For anyone who isn't a Dandy customer today listening, give us a 30-second brief. What is Dandy? How does it work? And what's the deal when a dentist signs up for?
So first, actually, before answering that, I want to comment on one thing you mentioned, which is that I started this company partially as a reaction to my own experiences as a dental patient. I spent a pretty large portion of my life bouncing from dental office to dental office, trying to solve, various oral issues that I've had throughout my life, and that has served as a really big inspiration for starting this company. It's frankly largely driven by my the ways that I have felt underserved as a patient by an industry that was in some ways left behind by technology for a very long time. You asked, what is Dandy? I think in a nutshell, Dandy is the world's preeminent digital native dental lab, right? I mean, I believe we are still the only major dental lab in the world that is exclusively digital. Mm-hmm. You actually cannot send a physical impression to Dandy. Yep. But converse to that, we will give you effectively a free scanner as part of working with us to facilitate and make as easy as possible digital dentistry. We have built our own scanner native operating system called Chairside to sort of make that a reality, and we have built our own industry leading digital native workflows and our own industry leading digital native manufacturing processes for a wide array of dental restorative products.
Today, I want to talk about one of those industry leading manufacturing processes, which has ultimately culminated in what we're calling polychromatic crowns.
Yeah.
Tell us, what is a polychromatic crown? What does it mean to the dentist? And ultimately, what does it mean to the patient?
The polychromatic crown is Danny's answer to a problem that has plagued dentists for decades. And I think this problem kind of starts with to explain this problem, you have to understand the emergence of a material called zirconia in the practice of dentistry about 2 or 3 decades ago. Zirconia was the answer to a pretty big issue in the practice of dentistry, which was that prior to zirconia, in order to produce a simple dental restoration, for like a crown dental restoration, required a ton of what I would describe as analog, manual, skilled labor. Mm-hmm. Like these old processes dating back to the 80s and prior, before the emergence of zirconia, you basically have to like hand layer these like appliances every single time. So the dentist would send in a physical impression to the dental lab, and then the dental lab would have to effectively use the analog physicality of that dental impression to hand layer or hand, whatever, the appliance that was going to go into the patient's mouth.
Right.
And the reason why this is such a problem for those who are maybe less familiar with dentistry is because it's extremely expensive. It is fairly unreliable. God forbid you have a remake. You now have to take another physical impression of the patient because the first one is probably no longer usable. It's just a challenging process to work with that we had to work with back then. Zirconia emerged as a really compelling solution to this problem because zirconia, unlike the materials that preceded it, is millable, right? And like by a CNC mill. And what that means is that you can basically you can effectively design your crown now in some sort of like digital software process, like a CAD system, and then you can send that design to a machine, and the machine can reliably and repeatably generate out of a zirconia block or a puck, can reliably generate a crown of that shape and size that you fed into the machine every single time. And this was a huge breakthrough. Zirconia also has other properties that make it really great for dental restoration, such as the fact that it is, number one, pretty similar to the color of naturally occurring enamel. And number two, it's incredibly sturdy and unlikely to break. And so the emergence of zirconia was really exciting for these reasons. But I also feel, one of the consequences of the emergence of zirconia was the emergence of what you might describe as like the factory lab. Dental labs used to be extremely artisanal and personalized affairs, and to some degree, of course, many still are. But you saw the emergence of these larger dental lab operations that could now produce a very, very large quantity of crowns for dental practices in a much more automated way than was possible before. And I think this is in many ways great. I think automation is very good. Automation takes products and makes them cheaper, while oftentimes retaining quality. But in the context of dentistry, I think that this actually came at a bit of a trade-off for doctors, which is doctors are now able to practice digital dentistry, which is phenomenal. It's a much better workflow for many practices. Yep. Crowns can arrive way faster than they used to, and I think they're less expensive now than they used to be, also for these reasons. But many, I think, practices, as they've made the transition to this new material and to this new mode of dentistry, I think many practices have also noticed something that used to be there kind of go missing, and that might be more something on the side of the aesthetic quality of these crowns.
What changes in the aesthetic quality of the crown?
Some of it is material based. So, like for example, if you're using, I think one material that's very popular alternative to zirconia is porcelain. Porcelain crowns are canonically considered to be more beautiful, more aesthetically pleasing, and more naturally appearing than a zirconia crown. Zirconia as a material, it's like fairly opaque.
Okay.
It doesn't have a lot of, as some, but not a ton of natural translucency. Whereas porcelain has a little bit more of that natural translucency, and it has a little bit more of an elevated feel to it as a result. Another way that aesthetics have maybe taken a bit of a hit as a consequence of digital dentistry is in the old, I would say in the older way of practicing dentistry, you basically needed a technician on every case you submitted to a dental lab to make sure it went well. And because of digital dentistry, that is no longer always the case. And while that is great for cost, one of the consequences of not having a technician on every case in this new way of practicing dentistry is, in the old way, you'd have somebody there hand staining all your crowns, making sure, maybe looking at a photo you submitted as a reference point, if that was provided, making sure that the crowns looked really, really phenomenal. And many folks watching also probably have technicians where you can even have your patient come in person for like a shade match to really make sure it goes right. So and for sure, I think with the way a lot of labs practice digital dentistry, this is no longer possible. Like, you're not going to go to most of your large national labs and do an in-person shade match, or have a technician like really carefully look at how they're, hand staining the incisal edge to meet your specific custom desired how you want that to be done. So I think there was something about the you could say the art of dentistry that has been a little bit neglected, I think, in this more like digital lab approach.
And so
you could say,
if a doctor wants to deliver a really high-end aesthetic case, what are their options today?
Well, I mean, a doctor can go to a boutique lab, of course. There are also some mid-sized labs that'll offer like more of a boutique service. You can go to a large lab. You can go to Dandy, and you can order a porcelain crown historically, and you can really take advantage of some of our like higher end customer support offerings, and you can kind of make it work. But the key trade-off with all these options is, you have to spend more money to get this outcome. There's a fundamental trade-off here where, in order to get that like really beautiful crown, You really got to pay up for it. And I think that's a problem that dentists have faced for decades.
Yeah.
And I think it feels so intuitive at this point because it's been so long. Like, oh, well, of course, if you want a crown that's going to like look really great,
yeah,
of course you got to pay more for it. But I think you asked earlier, what is polychromatic? What is polychromatic shade? Polychromatic shade is our answer to that problem. We do not believe that there should be such a steep trade-off between price and quality. Our belief is that every dentist at every price point should be able to have access effectively to really top of the line, high end, aesthetically beautiful crowns.
And so when a dentist orders a polychromatic crown, what is it that they actually get?
So a polychromatic crown is similar to your zirconia crown in the sense that it's a digitally manufactured crown. It has all the benefits of digital in the affordability, in the quality, in the consistency. But polychromatic crowns are also they're precision engineered to be aesthetically beautiful crowns, like on the level of porcelain, a porcelain crown you get from a boutique lab, or even better.
What is actually happening in the manufacturing process that allows Dandy to deliver that was, let's call it, not possible 6 or 12 months ago?
I mean, effectively, we've invented these extraordinarily innovative precision engineering systems and manufacturing processes that allow us to control the deposition of stain on these crowns at the level of like square microns. We can control digitally, for the first time in our industry, the application of color to the surface of a restorative unit. And the way, like, one way to think about this, how crazy this is, for all of our viewers who have opened up like a dental CAD software, like an ExoCAD or a 3D dental system, you've probably noticed there's no way to control color in these softwares. And that's because historically, there's not been a way to control color digitally. Color has always been an analog process. Every dental lab in the world, you manufacture the crown digitally, the shape, and you hand stain every single one. And we have effectively invented the world's first process for the digital application of color onto crowns. And that enables us to, for the first time in industry history, control color at the digital level.
Digital application of color or shade. What is actually happening in the software today that would previously be done by a ceramist?
So historically, after milling the crown, after milling and then sintering the crown,
mm-hmm.
A ceramist would apply a thin layer of stain and glaze to the crown basically via hand painting from a color palette of stains and glazes. Now, instead of all that happening at this analog painting step, during the design phase, digitally, during the design phase, our designers, after they finish designing the shape of the crown, they will then be able to apply a layer of color onto the crown digitally. And this is really compelling for a few reasons. Number one, because it's digital, we can use machine learning and AI technologies to really help assist that process, mm-hmm. and really help them go further. Many in our audience have probably seen really crazy demos have used probably some of these really crazy products where you can use AI to like generate images. Mm-hmm. And so you're familiar intuitively with how AI can kind of just generate a lot of really beautiful artifacts like pretty quickly. That is not usable by any other dental lab for crowns, because at the end of the day, you got a human painting them. But because ours are digital, we can use AI, to help assist the human in sort of painting the crown digitally. So that's one really compelling component of it. The other thing also is like we can just give designers really high quality tools to help us really reliably deliver on certain features of a design of a crown that would otherwise be very, very challenging for a lab to scale. Like if you're a dentist and you really want to check a box whenever you want like really high quality dark mamelons, like that's now like a digital tool that we can package into this, I guess, Photoshop style tool that our designers can use to reliably deliver that for you. You want like a very specific type of incisal to cervical gradient. Like I can literally give you a color slider. Choose your cervical to incisal gradient, and also give me what breakpoints you want. Where do you want the cervical region to end, and where do you want the middle region to end, and where do you want the incisal region to begin? You know what I mean? It's so flexible now. It's so controllable in a way that previously it was like this black box where you had to like, WhatsApp message or call your technician and tell him how you wanted it, or God forbid, have to walk on over to your dental lab to like go through that process in person if you want that level of control. Now it's digital. I can send you a digital file that shows you the exact how the color is going to be deposited on the crown. You can tell me where you want it moved. You can even, at some point in the future, might even let you edit it yourself.
How does that change the day-to-day for a dentist? Like what changes in their experience of treating their patients?
I think it really just comes down to a more reliable, consistent, and probably the most importantly, aesthetically pleasing experience. It used to be the case, I guess, that you'd like treat patients. You have to like, if you want their case to like guaranteed match the opposing tooth, you had to like take them in person to a dental lab nearby. I would say with polychromatic shade, that will become at least when we first launch it, that'll become significantly less of the case. Like you won't need that as much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully in the long run, as we continue to iterate in the product, you won't even need that at all.
In the last 12 months, you've launched Live Design Review, 2-visit dentures for Medicaid, the Dandy Vision Scanner, the Dandy Cart, AI Scan Review, and now Polychromatic.
Yep.
Where does this sit in that sequence, and why Polychromatic now?
Look, I think what you're getting at is we're building an ecosystem. We're building a suite of products, tools, and services that empower with the goal of empowering every dentist to practice premium dentistry and give every patient a premium experience, while also empowering the business owner, whether that be the dentist or whether that be somebody else, to be able to effectuate these things without breaking the bank. In fact, if ideally to be able to effectuate these things in a way that even helps the profitability of the practice. Because all of this stuff, ultimately, when you if you're able to position yourself as a premium doctor, again, whether you're a single location or a multi-location, if you're able to position yourself as a premium doctor, you're going to have better appointment fill rates. You're going to have better conversion from consults to actual procedures booked. And you're going to have better retention of your patient base. And frankly, you'll also be able to charge more for your cash pay patients. Be able to command a higher price point in the market. And what we want to do is basically offer a turnkey solution that makes it so that anybody who's really determined to do these things can.
Every polychromatic crown, and you touch on how this impacts ultimately the practice P&L.
Yeah.
Every polychromatic crown ships with free remakes and a lifetime warranty for only $99.
Also, like I feel very passionate about this. Like I just think dentists have been getting screwed for decades. Like any dentist who's like been working with like Invisalign, like like literally their main innovation as a company for the last like 2 decades, for the last like 10 years has just been like being able to like subtly but effectively raise prices without people like really noticing. These are just not customer obsessed companies. I think I said this last time. Something I feel very passionate about. I just do not believe dentistry is a market with an incredibly customer obsessed ethos for suppliers and vendors who work with dentists. And I really hope we can change that culture.
Yep.
And part of how we're doing that is we're launching this product, this incredibly beautiful, incredible product. I mean, every customer we talk to, they see this product, they're like, "Oh my God, this thing's crazy." Like what? They're like, what are you doing? This is porcelain, right? This is better than porcelain. Yeah. It's better than porcelain. Doesn't give you dark incisal edges the way we can give you a polychromatic. It doesn't give you customizable mamelons, or customizable imbrication lines the way you can get with polychromatic, but these customers, they love this product, and they're like, oh, this must be like $400, right? And I'm like, no, because we're not out to like profit maximize every day of the freaking week, like I want to offer a great experience for our customers. I want to actually break a trade-off, not make yet another trade-off dentists have to deal with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe
dentists have enough They have enough to deal with on a day-to-day basis, and I think they're sick and tired of it, and I am too.
Well, you're launching this at the same price as our current Zirconia crown, $99.
Mm-hmm.
Free remakes, lifetime warranty. Why make the guarantee when most labs don't?
I think what it really comes down to is, like, I want to meet dentists where they are. You know, like, okay, so for example, the lifetime warranty, right? I don't want to be putting dentists in a position where they got to like be tracking the age of how long it was since they last placed the crown and doing the math and like having a tracker so that like, oh, if it was more than 10 years, I got to pay for it. If it's like it's just not the way I want to do business. That's not the way I think dentists really want to be interacting with. I think dentists have enough complexity in their lives already. And so I think one of the pillars as we've thought about our product offering has always been creating simple experiences for customers. Mm-hmm. Things that are easy to understand and easy to manage as a practitioner. So a part of why we do things that way is, I think, to help create simplicity for our customers. Yeah.
Let's go into the product launch.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of hard calls along the way, groundbreaking technology. What was the single largest call that you had to make as the founder to develop the technology?
For Polychromatic specifically?
Yeah.
Like many things in business, probably comes down to people. I mean, this has been a monumental project. It's been one of the largest this is probably the single largest product I've ever seen in my career. And you know, it's funny. We've had hundreds of people working on this in the company, and every single one. I mean, these are people who are like executives from like very, very serious manufacturing companies like Apple and Juul and Tesla and SpaceX, and these guys are looking at this project like this is the hardest project I've ever worked on. I've never seen a like feat of engineering more impressive than what we've done here over the last. It's taken us,
give us an example,
end to end, like 3 years to really get this thing to market. And it's been almost unanimous. Everybody around the table is just like, this thing was really, really hard. And so you asked, like, what's the most consequential decision that we've had to make? And I'm sorry, that I've had to make, I think was the question. And I think it comes down to people. I mean, the being able to choose the right people. This didn't just require hundreds of people. It also required like 7 countries. We got Spain involved, Singapore, we got United Kingdom, a ton of stuff in the US, obviously. Like, this was a real international effort to bring this thing to market. And so choosing the right leaders to be able to tie all that together and make high quality technical decisions, and frankly, go deep with the engineers. Because a lot of leaders don't like going deep with the engineers, but that's where real innovation and invention comes from, is going deep with the engineers. Hiring the right people and the right leaders, I think that's probably the number one decision that we've had to make here.
From an engineering side, like, what needed to be true for us to deliver this?
I think it really comes down to just precision engineering. I mean, like to give you a sense of what this took. We are depositing color onto the surface of a crown at the like square-micron level. That's tiny.
Put that in perspective.
That's like 170. I think the width of a human hair is 70 microns. So we're like depositing ink at such high precision. Like, this required crazy precise robotics. This required crazy precise like software and technology. This required crazy precise engineering. This required tons of material. Like, you think we're using off the shelf like staining fluids for this? Definitely not. This required us to basically reinvent the entire supply chain and fully vertically integrate for the stain and glaze stack. It's fully Dandy customized, fully 100% in-house. And I think there were times where I was questioning my own sanity that we were doing this. Probably after a 19-hour flight, cross continent, one of many. But like I said, we started doing, like, I think, customer pilot testing about 3 or 4 months ago, or like 4 to 6 months ago, actually. And the reactions have just been so validating. So validating. You
Tell
know,
me
after 2 years of just like toiling in the mud. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I'm
Just
aware.
like in the trenches. You know, just like I got stories, man. But just like after 2 years of just struggle, you know, sometimes wondering like, is it going to be worth it? Because a lot of times these projects are not worth it. These multi-year R&D projects where a lot of companies really have a hard time long term. But after 2 years of really toiling, you know, to start to hear what customers have said, I mean,
Yeah, tell me about it.
oh my God, it's like seeing rays of sunshine, deep sunshine after years in the dark. No, I mean we put crowns in front of customers who like are not like even like dandy customers, just like practitioners. Like, what do you think of these crowns? I mean, the first thing we got was like, wait, this isn't porcelain. That was. I mean, that felt good.
Yeah.
That felt good. But then we started getting customers being like, this is even better than porcelain. Then we started getting customers being like, and these are people who are just looking at the physical part. We haven't even shown anybody the digital experience. Like that stuff is still fully internal. I'm like, one of the things I'm most excited for is being able to open that up to customers too. The same way, like today, so like today you use Dandy, you can do what's called a digital design preview or a DDP, and you can actually see digitally the shape of the crown you're about to receive inside the mouth. You can rotate it. You can like toggle a button and see the proximal contact heat map, the occlusal contact heat map. Sick stuff. We haven't even shown any customers what that's gonna experience is gonna be like when you add color to that. You can actually like look at the color, look at how the color contrasts with the adjacent tooth digitally. It's gonna be crazy.
Game changing.
It's gonna be nuts.
And you imagine putting that in the hands of the dentist
Yeah. Of course.
soon?
Yeah.
And when you think about that experience, right, it sounds like ultimately what you get to is a complete transformation. It's the shade matching experience, the patient going to a lab or the lab coming to the patient. It's actually just directly inside of the office and on the screen. You think that's ultimately where we go?
I think where we ultimately go is we make it ridiculously easy and incredibly affordable for every practice to practice premium dentistry, extremely luxurious, high quality aesthetic dentistry, while paying effectively the same price you're paying Dandy today for a Zirconia crown. That is the vision.
This is a lot of groundbreaking product transformation. Any dentist on today can actually just get a free sample in their office. Meetdandy.com.
That's crazy. Everybody should do that.
Yeah, hold it in your hand, see it how it reflects under the light, and pull up your loop and actually just get real inspection on the color, the translucency, the incisal edges,
The mamelons.
You can get
those imbrication lines. No, dude, 100%. That's really good. I think everybody should do that. You'll just see like you'll see within 3 seconds what this is.
Yeah,
it's great.
Dan, thank you for joining us. I'm Joe Lynch with The Margin Line. Again, if you want to get a sample of the polychromatic crown, meetdandy.com/polychromatic. If you want to chat further, find me on LinkedIn or visit our site at meetdandy.com.